So now let's talk about that transition into Vars. So you played Vars for 3 years, right?
Yep.
Starting when you were 10th grade. And now you actually get your shot at being a DB, right? So talk us through that. What were some of the things that came naturally to you? What were some of the obstacles? And what was it like now for the first time, you're playing at a higher level, but you're playing a position that you really want to, right?
So, I mean, obstacles, man. I mean, you can go on for forever about obstacles and roadblocks that came up along the way. But, that first year was definitely frustrating because I finally had the opportunity to play the position. I wanted to showcase what it was that I was able to do. But it was a similar situation to where I stepped in. There were a lot of guys that were established. Punahou had won the state championship the year before. Okay. And a lot of those guys that were defensive backs on that team that were getting playing time were all back. Brian Sweet was one of the safeties. Sean McFadden, Jeremy Ioane was in the defensive backfield playing rover. Both of our corners had both gotten a lot of playing time the year before. So, it was tough to get the shine and get the opportunities to show what I could do. But I knew when opportunity came knocking, it was too late to prepare. I had to be ready. And so I had a few very, very brief opportunities throughout my sophomore year where I got the chance to be on the field. And was able to make some plays, get some attention, and so I think that kind of played into going on throughout the course of my years, where they're like, okay, this kid has potential to be able to be on the field. But sadly, going into that next season, I played the first 2 games of the season, and then I broke my leg. So I was out all of my junior season, which for anybody that plays sports and is trying to get recruited to college, your junior year is your biggest year. That's imperative because by the time senior year hits, colleges already kind of know who the guys are that they're looking at that year. So senior year is really the solidifying that you deserve the scholarship if you don't have it already. Whereas it's not the year where you earn the attention for the scholarship. So, that presented challenges of its own, frustrations, a little bit of, just overall, I don't know if resentment's the right word because I don't know resentment towards what, but just my situation, and I feel like I have all this capability and all this to offer the team and to offer any school that wants to recruit me. But I'm just not having the opportunity to be able to show it. But I finally did come my senior year, and I told myself I'm gonna be ready once senior year comes around. Now the floodgates are opening, and it's gonna be my time to shine, and I'm gonna put myself in a position to be on the field as much as possible, because this is all I got. You only have one chance if you're all you play is your senior year. I played receiver as a freshman on JV. I didn't play very much as a sophomore, and then I was out all year as a junior. So really, you got one season. Everything's riding on that one season. But I mean, as I kind of mentioned before, it's fuel to the fire. It's just, okay, this is the situation. This is what's riding on it. How important is it to you to play at the next level? How important is it to you to make it? What are you going to do? And so,
No, I mean, and it's good to hear the story because I didn't meet you until later during the final years of your college career. But why don't you explain a little bit, and we'll talk about some of the injuries because football, it's a collision sport. So, there's going to be injuries here and there, but hopefully nothing too major. But I mean, you had a season-ending injury, which kept you out. So explain a little bit about how you broke your leg, what was fractured.
So fractured my fibula. Okay. So, I mean, as you know, the non-weight bearing bone in the lower part of your leg. So what was interesting about that injury was, to provide some context, we were running a drill at the end of practice when the head coach had said, be done for the day. But we were playing St. Louis, Marcus Mariota.
Okay.
the next week.
Got it.
So we were preparing for the following team that we were playing already. Our coach was just crapping his pants thinking about, that we were going to play against Marcus Mariota and St. Louis. So we're working on deep balls and protecting against the deep ball. And we're going up for the ball. I'm going up to make the interception. The guy that was running as a receiver went up for the ball as well. And when we came down, our legs got twisted up. And he actually came down on my leg.
Got it.
At first, it kind of felt more like a Charlie horse, where I just got to get up and just jog it off.
Yeah.
And I was jogging back to the huddle, and all of a sudden, I took one step at one point, and it sounded like a gunshot went off. And I just remember dropping to the ground and searing pain.
Yeah.
And I go down to the training room, and I was able to kind of limp down there with the help of some teammates, and I get checked out by the training staff, and they're like, I don't think that there's any break. I think it's just like a deep bruise. And so, we're going to monitor it. We're going to keep you out this week, and we'll reevaluate on Monday. And so I come in on Monday, they run do some things, and they're like, yeah, I think, I don't think it's broken. And they had me go up to the field where, one of the team doctors was helping with a game. And so I go and get it checked out. And even he didn't believe from his exam that I had broken my leg. And it wasn't until Coach Khan was like, hey, come down just to be safe. We'll get it checked out. And yeah, sure enough, clear as day. X-ray comes back, clean break, and then it ended my season. This, like you said, collision sport. There's tons of injuries that happened along the way. Actually, right before that, during the summer, I broke my nose because during 7-on-7, we didn't have any pads on. Collided with somebody, broken nose. Had a pretty serious injury actually when I was in the 8th grade. Tore my hip flexor.
Got it.
So yeah, just a lot of stuff that happened along the way, and even in college.
Before the hip flexor, any other injuries to the ankle or knee or anything on that side?
No, nothing. Nothing severe. Ankle rolls, here and there, but nothing severe.
Got it. So when you actually found out that you fractured your fibula, did you just get casted or booted, or did you have to get surgery?
I didn't need to have surgery. They just booted me up.
Got it.
I was able to walk on it just fine, which was the most frustrating part because it's almost like I compare it to when you would get a concussion. You can't really see the injury.
Yeah.
No one can see that it's there. And so a lot of times, people don't necessarily take it as seriously as it really is, or coaches or people around you think, oh, it must not be too bad, or you can't actually see it. You can't see the recovery. And while you can actually take x-rays of a bone and make sure that you're monitoring the healing process, I was walking around and you couldn't necessarily see how much pain I was going to be in once I did try to start to come back. And every week it was, when you coming back? When you coming back? When you going to be ready? When are you going to be ready? To the point where before I was really fully, completely healed and ready to go, I had 2 weeks left in the season. And I tried everything to get back onto the field. I would be running along the sidelines and the coaches would be yelling at me, "You're limping, you're limping, you're limping. You need to just go for it. Just run it off." And so, it was tough. It was tough.
And as we know now in hindsight, it's not for the lack of effort, right? There's certain things that you need to address to actually get back to that 100%, which we'll touch on in a little bit.